Greetings, YouTube. I wasn't sure what to showcase for this video because there have been a number of forum posts that have been sent to me in the last week, especially, and really ever since the October patch dropped, that have been taken down. So I can show, the usual background game mode where I talk about everything from Alliance Quest to Alliance War to Eternity of Pain, etc. Maybe that's the right way to do it. But, the bottom line is this is going to be just a somewhat quick, or hopefully not more than 5 minutes, just a recap of what I have been told behind the scenes by people that I trust that aren't just complaining for the sake of complaining. It always means the most to me when somebody contacts me and says, Prof, I have never seen this before and I don't like to give Kabam a hard time. And some people might say, that means they're a Kabam loyalist. Well, no, that means that they're not addicted to being negative. And look, human nature and the YouTube algorithm on, so many channels, including this one, has shown that, I can make 3 positive videos and 1 negative video. And when I say negative, I mean critical. I don't mean, trying to be negative. And the critical video will have twice as many views as all 3 of the positive ones combined. There's just something almost dopamine level addictive about feeling victimized and having group think. And the other thing about Kabam is that a lot of times they just legitimately do things that deserve criticism, from ripping off their customers to not addressing anti-player bugs for too long, to what we're going to talk about in this video, which is quite simply that we're supposed to ignore this now. It is forbidden on the forums from bringing up inputs. And if you make a forum post, like the ones I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that state that your inputs are still dropping and your parries are still not working, or maybe it'll say parry. This is what's happening to me. It'll say parry, and I know I'm not fighting a node that shrugs it off or that ignores it, because I'll be doing even an Alliance Quest fight, which I have been doing routinely, the same fights and the same paths for a couple months now with map 6, and it won't register. And then, of course, when you think that you're going to parry, that means you're going to make the defender stun. And if you make the defender stun, you're going to release your finger and go into attack mode by swiping the screen. But when you do that and the parry doesn't work, you basically just release your block and you set yourself up to get literally face blocked and potentially be knocked out, depending on how much health you have left and what the attack rating, or maybe even how much of the special bar. Because I've done it before where I've released my finger, the parry didn't register, and then I get a special 2 to the face, which is so much fun. I tell my students all the time, some things put the FU in fun. That's one of them. When there's a bug in the game, you release your finger on it, and then you immediately get knocked out. So I wanted this video, my vision for this video would be not a terribly long synopsis of what I've heard from, and just seeing what you all have experienced this month. And maybe, just maybe, you haven't experienced anything. Maybe the game is working better than ever. I still want to hear you say that. I still want to know what device you are using. All feedback, assuming it's relevant to the video and the question at hand, is good feedback. If you're trying to get honest data, you should not be looking for a bias in your sample size, but you should be asking people to be honest and to talk about what they've seen. And I've seen enough people who have said that even though Kabam says this is mission accomplished, it's the worst that it's ever been on their device, that's worth talking about. I also think now that Battlegrounds is a permanent staple in the game, and we have, look at how many screens we have. Just think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and with Battlegrounds, it'll be 13. 13 different screens at once. I always say, if I downloaded the game now, I would be so intimidated by how much there is to do, I would just delete it. I would just be completely overwhelmed, because I like to relax, and the last thing I want to do after a long day is feel overwhelmed by a mobile game. But with that being said, there are several people who've downloaded the game for the first time in the last couple of years and even the last 6 months and have loved it. So to each their own. But the bottom line is this: Kabam doesn't want us to talk about this anymore, but it's really important that we do, because even though you may agree or disagree with this statement, Kabam wants the game to be fixed. And they've put Lord knows how much money and time and effort into fixing the game. It's just, for so many people, maybe never going to be fixed, but it's certainly not fixed right now. So thank you for your feedback. I look forward to seeing your responses.